Commander Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiant, watching the massive alien fleet materialize from hyperspace. The ships were elegant, crystalline structures that seemed to bend light itself, unmistakably architect vessels. After 3 centuries of silence, the creators had returned. "Incoming transmission," reported Lieutenant Martinez from the communication station. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the ethereal form of an architect. Its translucent features shifted like liquid mercury, and when it spoke, the voice carried the weight of eons. "Children of Terra," the being intoned, "we have returned to reclaim what is ours. You have served your purpose admirably, but your independence ends now." Chen's jaw tightened. She had studied the classified archives, knew the truth that most of humanity had forgotten or chosen to ignore. 50,000 years ago, when early humans were still learning to make fire, the architects had arrived. They hadn't conquered, they had improved. Through genetic manipulation and neural enhancement, they had transformed humanity into the perfect warrior species. Enhanced reflexes, superior tactical thinking, an innate understanding of combat strategy, and most importantly, an unbreakable will to fight against impossible odds. The architects had forged humanity as living weapons, then deployed them across the galaxy to fight their wars against other ancient powers. But the architects had made one critical error. They had given humans too much independence, too much capacity for growth. When their creators retreated to their distant realm to wage wars beyond mortal comprehension, humanity had continued to evolve, to learn, to become something more than mere weapons. "You mistake us for the primitives you left behind," Chen replied, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was about to declare. "We are no longer your tools." The architect's expression shifted, something that might have been amusement flickering across its features. "Your defiance is quaint, but you forget what you are. We created you to be warriors, and warriors you remain. Your ships, your weapons, your very instincts all bear our design. You cannot hope to match us." Chen allowed herself a smile. "You're right about one thing. We are warriors. But you forgot to account for what warriors do when they're not fighting your wars." She gestured to the tactical display showing human fleet positions throughout the system. "We forge ourselves anew. The past 3 centuries hadn't been idle for humanity. They had taken the architect technology and improved upon it, combining it with their own innovations. Human ships now incorporated quantum fold armor that could phase through solid matter. Their weapons utilized compressed stellar matter, capable of igniting miniature stars. Most importantly, they had developed neural networks that linked entire fleets, allowing for tactical coordination that exceeded even architect capabilities. "You taught us to be warriors," Chen continued, "but you never taught us when to stop. That was your mistake." The architect fleet moved first, their crystalline vessels unleashing cascades of energy that could vaporize entire moons. But the human ships danced through the barrage with impossible grace, their quantum drives allowing them to exist in multiple dimensional phases simultaneously. Admiral Hassan, commanding the fleet from the dreadnought Prometheus, watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. "All units execute Protocol Forge." Across the system, human ships began to change. Modular components rearranged themselves, weapon systems merged and evolved, and the individual vessels began linking together into massive constructs. This was humanity's secret. They had learned to become more than the sum of their parts. The architect commander's composure finally cracked as it watched a dozen human frigates merge into a single entity that defied conventional physics. "Impossible. We gave you warrior instincts, not this. You gave us the foundation." Chen's voice crackled through the communication link as her own ship underwent its transformation. "But we built the house. Every war we fought in your absence taught us something new. Every enemy we faced showed us a different way to adapt. You created warriors, but we became something greater. We became human." The battle that followed would later be called the Forge War, marking humanity's final break from their creators. The architects' advanced technology proved formidable, but it was static, unchanged from the designs of millennia past. Humanity's weapons and tactics evolved in real time, adapting to counter every architect's strategy. When the crystalline flagship began to fracture under sustained assault, the architect commander made one final transmission. "We gave you everything you are." "No," Chen replied as she watched the ancient vessel break apart in spectacular fashion. "You gave us a starting point. Everything we became, we forged ourselves. The remaining architect vessels retreated into hyperspace, their defeat absolute. But Chen knew this was only the beginning. Word would spread throughout the galaxy. The created had defeated their creators. Ancient powers would take notice. Other species who had suffered under architect manipulation would seek alliance or revenge. As she looked out at the stars, Chen felt the weight of destiny settling on humanity's shoulders. They had been forged as warriors for someone else's war, but now they would fight for their own future. The galaxy was vast, filled with threats and wonders beyond imagination, but they were ready. They were human. They were forged for war, and they had chosen to forge themselves for so much more. The real galactic war was just beginning, and this time humanity would write its own rules.